welcome to the Knittinginden podcast, episode 3 of my English podcast. If you're new here, you are very welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, you're also very welcome. I started this English version of my podcast about 4 weeks ago, I think, and we'll go on with it because I like it, and it's good for my English to hoe zeg je het? It's good for my English. Laten we het daarop houden. This is my cup of coffee that I have today, and I have a glass of water, of a mug of water with it. And now, if you're new here, or if you watched my episodes before, English, I like to speak English, but it's not in my nature, so I have to think a lot about the words, so sorry for that. I hope you will stay and watch my knitting podcast, because knitting is the thing I like to do the most. Sometimes I crochet with things, but knitting is my main thing. What I'm not wearing a finished object. This is my garter marler. It's still in progress, work in progress, and it's long enough to start the cuff. So I knitted yesterday. I knitted this piece, I think, and now it's long enough to start the cuff, but I was too tired to go on, so we will do today or tomorrow, I don't know. I like the pattern a lot. It's really easy. It's in garter stitch. I think many people have knitted already. I chosen these colors, the pinks and the lilacs and the grays, and I love this pattern. It's a really nice knit. So that's what I worked on. When the cuff is done, hopefully soon, then I can start the sleeves. And when the sleeves are done, then I have to do the cuff here. And then my cardigan is ready. This is a Stephen West pattern. I think most of you will know, but it's the garter marler. So that's my first whip, and that's what I wore. So I take it off now because it's too hot. In Holland it is, I think, I didn't watch my phone, but I think it is around 18 degrees, and it's not sunny. Unfortunately, the sun is not out, and it will there's coming rain today. So it's a little bit, hoe zeg je dat, vochtig in the Netherlands. Echt real Holland weather. Most of the time we have lots of rain. In the summers very hot, but hoe zeg je dat in het Engels? Vochtig. Vochtig weer. I don't know what the English word is, but it doesn't matter. I have one finished object since the last time I spoke, and that is my Crazy Sober Ball socks. One is on the blocker, the other not. I don't block my socks. I don't know if you do it, but I think it's not necessarily. I started with this one. The Crazy Sober Ball is changing colors itself, and it's a really nice yarn to knit with. And I always do a cuff. I started a cuff, and it's 4 centimeters, and I do knit with 64 stitches. I start with 64 stitches, and then my leg is always 14 centimeters. Then I chose this time for the shadow wrap short row heel. That's the easiest heel, I think. And then I measure my foot when I'm knitting, and when I think it's long enough, I start the toe for the decreases. So that is my first finished object. I think I knitted here on this sock for about 6 weeks, because I have other knitting projects on my needles. I'm not a monogamous knitter like most of you. I like to do then I like socks, then I like my blankets, then I like a cardigan. So that's what I'm doing. I choose what I feel, and that's where I knit on. So that is one pair of socks finished. Even kijken. Then I don't know if I showed it last time. I think I did. This is my second sock on the needles, and that is the Long Yarns Capital Cities Madrid. It's all like the other ones. It's also vanilla sock. That's what I like to do most. I'm not already into knitting so many patterns in socks, but maybe it starts, but it's not my favorite. This is my favorite. You can take it anywhere, and like the other one, 4 centimeters of cuff, then 64 stitches on 2.5 millimeter needles. These are my Knit Pros. I like them a lot. So that's what I'm doing, and then 14 centimeters of my leg. And then I start with the heel. Sometimes I do the Hollandse heel, but mostly I do the shadow wrap short row heel. So that's my second sock on the needles. It's in my beautiful bag from Bertie and Poppet. She's on Etsy, Jill, and she makes the most beautiful bags. I love it very much. The linings are really nice, and her name is in it, and it's really nice bags. So that's what I'm where this sock lives in. Even a sip of my coffee. There's falling something. Oh yeah, the ball of wool fell on the floor. Then I have even kijken hoor. Waar is dat? I just recorded a Dutch episode, so everything is here on a pile. So I have to find where is my other sock. Oh yeah, here. This is I don't know how many. I think I have 5 socks on the needles on this moment. This is my other sock. This is yarn from Atelier Wolbeest in the Netherlands. She dyes wool. I love it. This is a nice colorway. On this moment in my life, I like the colors with purple or pinks, as you can see in my Carter Marler. So that's what I and the dark red. I love this. I don't know how you call it, that it's not predictable how it will turn out. That's what I like in this kind of yarn. This is the first sock. I have already did the heel. I did already the heel, and the recipe is the same. 64 stitches, 14 centimeters of leg, and 4 centimeters. Oh no, 4 centimeters leg, and then 10 centimeters. Sorry, 4 centimeters cuff, and then 10 centimeters leg, and then the shadow wrap short row heel, and then I knit until it fits, and then I'm going to decrease for the toe. See a little bit pooling here. That's not what I really like, but yeah, it is it is what it is. So that's the second sock, I think, second sock on my needles, and it's in my also a bag from Bertie and Poppet. It's a really nice, Easterly, springy bag. I like it a lot. These models are very nice for socks, not too big, not too small. And there's a strap, you can hold it like this. So that's a really one of my favorite project bags. Yeah, then I'm taking a sip of my coffee again, because otherwise it's getting cold and I don't like cold coffee. Oh, I forgot to tell you about my mug. This is a vintage mug. I got it from my aunt. Yeah, for it is a sister from my father. She was moving from Germany back to Holland, and she said, Ivonne, I've got some things, do you want them? And there was this cup with it, with another, just 2 cups of this, and a milk can also. So I was cleaning the closets yesterday, and I found this bag. I thought, oh, okay, I can take my coffee today from this little vintage mug. I love vintage. In this vintage mug I have my water. This one's also nice. It's from the thrift store. I like thrifting here in Holland. We have got so many kringloopwinkels. That's my hobby. Also beside knitting. Maybe I told you in my first 2 episodes. So if you didn't see them, you can watch it back. Yeah. And I also have this one on my needles. It is wool from Sweden. I bought it in Sweden. Last November I was on a city trip to Sweden and Denmark. I have filmed it and I have put it in a vlog, but it's in Dutch. Maybe you like to see it because I visited 2 yarn shops, one in Denmark and one in Malmo in Sweden, and that's where I bought this wool. It's a 8-ply, thicker yarn. I am not really a fan of knitting the thicker yarns. I like fingering weight wool more, but this one was really how do you say it in English? It's a superwash wool. It's a really fine yarn, and it's the same amount of stitches. It's less. It's I think 48. Then I do 4 centimeters, and then I did 4 stripes. I don't think this is 14 centimeters in total, because I thought, oh, I do 4 stripes and then I begin with the heel flap. It's a pity that here is a little bit yellow, but it is what it is. Then I did the heel turn. I thought you call it the heel turn and the gusset, and then I knit it till I thought it was long enough. Then I bind it. I decreased it for the toe, and I fit them on, and they were too small. So I did the toe again, and I knit it longer, and now they're perfect. I have maat 40 in Dutch is it maat 40, I think it's 10 in the US, but I'm not sure. But for maat 40 is my footmate. Maat, hoe zeg je dat eigenlijk? Nou, goed. I hope you know what I mean. Oh, the English is sometimes so hard to find the words. And when I see my video back, then I'm sitting on the couch and think, you have to say this, that, but it doesn't come in my head. So sorry for it. I'm trying to do my best to pronounce the English words as good as I can. So this is the first sock. The second sock is on the needles. It's also in a bag from Bertie and Puppet. It's a drawstring. This one is also really nice. It's a Christmas bag, but a wintry bag. But I have so many projects on the needle, so I had to use all my project bags. Dus the second is on the needles, and I was knitting on it, and I thought Tuesday I thought, I make it. Thursday I finished the sock, but then I rather go sit in the garden because there was nice weather, and I bought some plants, so I did my garden work, and I didn't knit on the sock anymore. if you like it, you can see I've got a few weekly vlogs or Sunday vlogs, but I film what I do all week, but it's all in Dutch, and it's not. I'm not going to do that in English because that's too much work. I can oversee what I have to do. So, but if you like it, you can watch it maybe with subtitles, or just you can see what I do throughout the week. So that's for my Dutch followers. But if you like it, you can see it also. So I didn't knit on this sock anymore because the weather was too good, and I went to a tuincentrum for plantjes, for plants, and I made little pots with flowers, so that when I sit outside, it's nice and cozy. Yeah. And then we organize a knit along in Holland, and it starts 1 September. I know it's very far ahead, but we thought maybe it's nice to pronounce it already, so that you can, if you want to join in, you can think about what kind of yarn do I want to use. You have to buy the pattern, because we are going to. I'm doing it together with Linda from Wool Hobby. We talked on the phone last Saturday, and it was really nice. And we talked about what do you like to make, and we are both very big fans of Stephen West patterns, like many of us. And I knitted the Vertices Unite a few months ago. I don't know if I showed it in the English podcast. I think I didn't. This is my Vertices Unite. And I knit this with 100% merino wool. And the yarn I bought at Atelier Sopra in the Netherlands. She sells hand-dyed yarns, and I think she do it really well. It's nice yarn, really soft and squishy. So for the knit along, we are going to knit this shawl, the Vertices Unite from Stephen West, and we will start 1 September. So you have whole summer to think about the yarn you will want to use, to buy the pattern, and 1 September the knit along gaat beginnen. And then I think it will run 4 months till the end of December. But that we didn't think about that yet. So if you like to knit the Vertices Unite, then you can join us on 1 September. This shawl is many podcasters say this is my most worn shawl, and that's I saw it with Jana from Finnish Knitting Stories. I saw it in several podcasters that people wear this shawl, and I always thought, oh, that's a nice shawl. Which one is it? So that was my choice to do it also, and it is a really nice knit. It's not moeilijk, hoe zeg je dat ook, hè? It's very easy and nice with the 2 colors. You can choose the color combinations yourself, but the pattern says what you have to do. So that is my Vertices Unite. I made the bigger version because I like to have a big shawl. But mine was ready, I think it was ready at the end of May. I don't know for sure. So this winter I couldn't use it as much as I wanted, but it will come next year. Oh yeah, and the next version I'm going to knit is in alpaca. Drops alpaca. I have a lot in my stash, and that alpaca is a really soft yarn, so I want to use that in September to use up all the stash of most of the stash I have from the nice yarn. So that's my idea. Yeah, and it's a really nice shawl, so as you can see. Oh yeah, I didn't block this because I don't think it's already dense enough. I think sometimes with blocking it's getting very stretched out. I have another shawl from Stephen West, the crystal fragment shawl. I blocked that. I did block that, but it's really yeah, it's here. I think it's too stretched out at some points. I don't know if you can see it. So I thought with this one, no, it's not necessarily to block it. It's already big enough. I'll leave it like this, and maybe I will block it on a later moment. But I like the density of this nice squishy feeling. So that's the reason I didn't block this shawl. I don't know. Is blocking something you do? Is that something people do the last few years? When I was little, I never heard my mother say something about blocking your knitwear. She always said you have to dry it flat. That's what she said, but she never said, oh, you have to block a shawl first or a garment first before it's nice. So I ask myself, is it then something newer to do? Maybe it's with lace knitting. It's different because that had to open up, but some knits don't have to open up so much, I think. So that's our knit along. If you don't know Linda from Wool Hobby yet, she has a podcast on here also. She does also Dutch and English, but she's got more followers than me, so maybe you already know her. She makes really nice patterns, and she has a web shop, Wool Hobby, where you can buy yarn. So that's our plan for the knit along. 1 September, the Vertices Unite, knitting along with each other. So if you want to join in, please follow us, and we'll keep you posted on this. Yeah. Then I worked on my Granny Stripes blanket. This is I call it now the Fiddly Bits blanket. I knitted the Fiddly Bits call, that one I told you in the previous episodes, and now I use all my Fiddly Bits to crochet this nice Granny Stripes blanket. I really love it. Oh, wacht even, ik trek het eruit. I really love to do it. I do it on a 3mm needle, and it's very mindless. You can sit and crochet when you don't feel like knitting or doing something. Doing something, hoe zeg je dat dan? Ingewikkelder. Nou ja, it's an easy, on the couch, sitting on a couch, making your blanket. I saw this with the Crazy Sock Lady. She makes all these blankets. I love it. She has many of them, and that's why when I thought, I want to make a Granny Stripes blanket also. So that's the Fiddly Bits blanket, I call it. Then I'm, of course, knitting every day on my Coziest Memories blanket. It's getting really big already. I do, most of the time, I do 1 square a day, but sometimes 3 and sometimes 2. Lately I did 2 a day. Where was I? Okay. This is my last row. I started here, and then this. I had 3 swaps, back to back. I had 3 swaps, so I have a lot of little balls with different colors, lots to choose from. And I love this knit. This is one of the best knits I ever did. And I think when this one's ready, I will start not immediately with another one, because I have another blanket on my list. That is the Habitation Throw from Helen Stewart. That's on my list. So, but yeah, I think next year I will make another one. And I think I have to do, yeah, I think 4 or 5 rows, and then it's over my back, because now it's hanging on the floor, and then I think it's okay. Then the I-cord binder off, that's a very long thing, but I have to do, weave my ends in. Most of the time I do 3 rows and then I weave my ends in. So that's what I'm going to do the first time I'm going to work on this blanket. But it's really lovely. I love it. I saw it, of course, with the other podcasters around the world. They inspired me to do this, and yeah. If you didn't knit this, I say start one, because it's really nice. I started last May, I think. I thought I saw it on my Instagram in the memories. Now I'm knitting on this over a year. The first month I didn't do so much, but when the Advent swap was, the Dutch Advent swap was passed, I started to knit on it every day. So yeah, I hope it's done in, I think, August. And then I take a little break from this kind of blankets, and then maybe in January I start a new one, because it's really nice. But it can also be another blanket. That's the plan. I had a little pause because my cat was scratching at my door. Another blanket on my needles is the northeasterly blanket. I also really love this, because after all the squares I knitted, I mostly have bits left. So I thought in January I start also this nice blanket, the northeasterly blanket. I started, I think, between Christmas and New Year. And this is not what I'm doing every day, but when I feel like it. And the last week I did 4 stripes, I think. I was here and I did a lot last 2 weeks. So this is also one of my favorite knits. I like to knit on scrappy projects, because I don't like to knit in one color. I don't like to knit in one color. I made the Weekender from Andrea Mowry in one color, and I love the sweater. It's a really, really nice sweater to knit, but in one color in the round, oh, I don't like that. So most of my things will be colorful, and normally I wear black. I'm always wearing black. My father always says, "Oh, do you wear black again?" So when I started knitting, picking up the knitting 3 years ago again, then I thought, yeah, I like the colors, and so that's, yeah, it looks like it's going to be to knit faster when you knit with colors, because you always think, oh yeah, the next color, and when you knit in one color, it's always so boring. So on my YouTube channel you will see mostly scrappy projects, or Stephen West patterns. I love Stephen West patterns. Andrea Mowry, I knitted these two, the shift shawls, the shift collars volgens mij. So that's what I'm mostly knitting. And I'm still learning. When I was 8 years, I learned to knit in the school. But when I got older, I didn't knit so steady. Sometimes for my Cindy's. And now, since my mother passed away 3.5 years ago, and since then I knit. I only knit. The only thing I want to do is knit on the couch, knit. And my mother always says, "Oh, you can knit socks. It's not very. It's easy. You can do it." And I always thought, "Oh no, I can't. It looks so, yeah. Hoe zeg je dat nou in Engels? It looks so hard." But it isn't. I learned myself to knit socks all through YouTube videos. I am, I pick things really quick. When I see something and I really want it, I can do it really quick. I'm a quick learner. Oh yeah, that's what I want to say. So I watch a lot of YouTube podcasters. I love it. English or Dutch, doesn't matter. I'm soaking everything everybody tells. And of course, I've got my favorites, but I just like to see what other people are making, and I get inspired by other people. And that's what I like to do. So even kijken, welke heb ik daar nog niet? Yeah, then I've got another sock I forgot to tell about. It is the sock from the sweater of Keith. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I think it's a Dutch pattern. It is in Dutch. Oh, that's not. I'm not sure if it's also in English. I think it's in Dutch. But this is what I am knitting on very long. This is not what I like. I don't like to. I like the pattern, how it looks, but I don't like to knit it because you have to pay attention, and I can't watch podcasts and I can't talk because then I lose track. So this sock, originally you have to do the pattern on the foot also, but I didn't do it because I was tired of the pattern. But I really like it, or it's not that I don't like it. And so this is a slow knitting. It's really, and looks like the color is different here. Weird. This is my slow knitting sock, and the second one I am knitting on. I have to do one repeat. This piece I have to knit again, and then I can do the heel flap and the gusset and so forth. So I will, I think I knit on this in the future, in the coming weeks, because I want to have it done. I'm ready with it. So that is the sock from the trui van Kees. That's a Dutch pattern. So maybe you can't, you don't want to knit it because it's a Dutch pattern. I think it's only in Dutch. I'm sorry. The yarn I'm using is Seta from Mylan White from Lana Grassa. It's a really nice yarn. It is. I love yarns from Lana Grassa. I think it's a German. Yeah, it's a German yarn. But we live in the east of Holland, here at the border from Germany, so I can drive to Germany whenever I want. But in Holland we sell Lana Grassa a lot. And this is the label, Seta Meilenwijd Lana Grassa. It is 55 sure wool, 25% polyamide and 20% silk. So this is a nice yarn to knit with. And I knit my Stephen West twist and turns also. The red and the white is also the same, like these are in the other colors. So that's what I also knitting on. I have a lot of projects on my needles. I love to roulette the things, not knit on one thing. I'm not a monogamous knitter. I will never be. So that's what I like to do. My days are filled with knitting. But now the weather is is better. It's nice to sit outside and do your plants and your gardening. So it's a little bit less. The knitting is a little bit less, but I think that's that's normal for the time of year. But I knit all summer through. I didn't think about what I will knit for the summer. I don't don't have a summer tea or so, I have some cotton in my stash that I last year I wanted to knit a summer tea, but it didn't work out the way I liked, so I frogged it. But the cotton is still there, so maybe I will look for a pattern for that. But it's not maybe in a few weeks. I don't know. I still the summer I will still knit socks. I love it. It's an easy to take with you and to knit on. It's always nice to knit socks. I have also this on my needles. I don't know if I showed it last podcast. I think I did. This is a really nice Stephen West shawl. Also, it is the hoe heet die ook alweer? Ik ga even opkomen. Painting Chevrons van Stephen West. But it's a slow knit also. You have to constant watch on the pattern. What I have to do, I can't memorize it. I did one repeat last weekend, but then my sister came to drink coffee and I couldn't knit on it again. So that's not really a progress. But it's a nice knit. And I don't have, it doesn't matter. It can be over a year, I see. I don't know yet. My kids are coming home. Hopefully they don't disturb me. Yeah, and somebody on Instagram, one of my followers, and I follow her, she knitted little mini socks. So I loved it so much, and I asked her, do you have a pattern from it? So she said, yes, I have. It's like a recipe. So I knitted this little mini sock. So nice. And I shared the pattern on my Instagram. I'm knittinginden on Instagram and on here on YouTube and on Ravelry. So if you want to follow me there, feel free. This is the little mini sock. She calls it a baby sock. I don't know if a little baby will fit it. Maybe they will. It's really sweet. And this is what she said. You can make a key cord, of hoe zeg je dat, a key ring, and put it on your keys or on your bag. I really, really love it. So I knit it three times. One sock I knit it in 1 hour. So, and she uses the shadow wrap short row heel, 4 tours, 4 rounds of cuff, 12 for the leg, then the shadow wrap short row heel, and then 12 for the foot, and then the decreases for the toe. So it's not really, hoe zeg je nou moeilijk in het Engels? It's easy. Volgende keer ga ik het opzoeken, what it means. It's not really hard. Then I say moeilijk. We say moeilijk in Dutch. And I knitted another one. This one is on 2mm needles. These ones are on 2.25mm needles. So you can see the difference in shape. This one's a little bit littler and this one's a little bit bigger. So that's what I also like to do in between all my projects. Sorry for my abrupt end from the podcast, but there was something wrong. So I was nearly done. That's not the problem. Here you see some footage of me working in the garden. I would like to, I would like in real life that it went so fast that it looks here on the screen. But I was making my garden tidy and neat, and remove all the grass between the tegels. Hoe zeg je dat? Dus it speaks for themselves what I'm doing here. That's what I want to say. And what do I show now? I don't know. Yeah, I show the results. Yeah, here I'm showing the results. And I'm sitting and eating een bruin brood met filet américain. That's a Dutch, I think it's a Dutch product on your bread. I don't know if the Americans know what it is. And I'm drinking a cup of water. Here you see me biking to my dad's house. On Tuesdays, I always go to my dad, and this is on the way. I always stop for a moment to film a bit. Yeah, I always film a bit when I bike to my dad's house, and I talk about the weather, what kind of weather it is. This time it was warm but not sunny. It was 18 degrees, I think. And I'm showing a bit of the environment where I bike. That's in Holland, here in the east of Holland, in Twente, between Hengelo and Enschede. And then I always turn the camera and I show what I wear. But this time it was not necessarily to wear a scarf because it was warm enough. And then I turn the camera again and I bike on to my father's house. I always help my father on Tuesdays, so that's really nice. Here I am back at my house, working in the garden again. I wasn't ready yet, so I do it in chapters. I don't do it in one day anymore. I can't do that with my back pain. And I had a little apron. I bought it in the thrift store. And I'm going to show it here. Oh yeah, here I'm going to show it. I don't know if you see it good, but it's a really nice, flowery, I think from an old lady, and I loved it. It was 30 cents, so I'm very happy with it. So that's what I'm doing here. Now, thank you for watching. I hope you liked it, and we'll see you next time in 2 weeks on Thursdays. Thank you for watching, and like and subscribe and leave a message. I love to hear what you thought of it. Thank you, and till next time.